everybody. My name is Millicent, and this is the These Little Hands Knitting and Sewing podcast, episode 6. It's been a month, I think, since I last recorded. I've been on a course and I've just been away every weekend, so I wasn't able to record, but it gave me some time to finish up some projects, and now I can share that with you. I'm coming to you from South Africa, Johannesburg, where it is currently winter, but our winters aren't as cold, so you can see it's a nice sunny day outside. I'm not sure what the temperature is, around, I don't know, about 18, around the degrees Celsius. So yes, I'm very excited to be back. Thank you so much for all your comments and your the contact that everybody has made with me about my podcast. I love this community. Somebody asked me, one of my friends asked me, why do I do it? And I just think it's such a positive piece of my life. Everything about this community is positive. Even if you don't have the same taste, you can still appreciate the craft, and I'm really enjoying being part of that. And last weekend I joined a local knitting group. I am never able to go, and last week was the first time I was able to go, and Sally from the Wool Diaries podcast invited me a long time ago, and last week was the first time I could go. She wasn't there, but I met all the other ladies and I really, really enjoyed it, so I will definitely be going again when I am able to, but I really enjoyed that. Yes, so I have 2 finished objects today to share with you. I'm going to share the knitting first, and then I will go into the sewing segment for anybody that's only interested in one of the 2. But I am wearing my finished object, and I've spoken about this one a long time for quite a few episodes. So I'm wearing my Haven sweater, which is completed, and it was a mammoth project, but I love it. I love it so much, and even though it was a lot of knitting, I think it's worth it. It is perfect. It fits in perfectly with my wardrobe, with what I need for work. It's a very modern sort of silhouette, and I love the color. The yarn is wool and alpaca, I think. All the details is on my project page on Ravelry. So it is a little bit scratchy, but it doesn't bother me. I think if you're sensitive it might bother you, but it is okay for me. I anyway wear a long sleeve t-shirt underneath it. So I'm going to stand up to show you. It is a completely boxy shape. So you can see the shape there. The sleeves are only short little sleeves from there. So you just knit the back and the front and the 2 sleeves, and then you seam everything together. Yes, and it was designed by Martin Story. So I love it. I've worn it quite a few times. It works perfectly for work. So it's still very pretty, but it's very comfortable. As some of you know, for everybody that's new, I'm an occupational therapist working in pediatrics. So I spend most of my day on the floor or on the equipment crawling around. So I need something that looks good but is still very comfortable, and this works perfectly. So I'm very happy with the way it turned out. And then, so that is my only FO. I really wanted to finish it. So I was like, okay, I need to just put everything else down and finish this sweater up. So I think I finished it about 2 weekends ago. And yes, I will post some pictures once the episode is up as well of that. So then I have, I think 3 works in progress to show, and 1 very almost completed project. So let me go into that. The first one I have to show you is in this bag. All my project bags with projects in are bags that I sewn myself. I haven't bought any project bags with, so it has little cats on it, and the inside fabric is really quite sweet. There's yarn and scissors and things in there. Okay, so this project I spoke about when I got the yarn for it quite a while ago. It is a shawl by Toby Roxanne Designs called Udali. And this is knitted out of Rowan Fine Art in the tawny colorway. So after this big project, I just wanted something that's a little bit less complicated, because I've done the void shawl and I've done quite a few pattern things, and I just wanted something that will fly off my needles, and this is the perfect pattern for this. So it's very plain, and it just has this small little detail that almost looks like a star. So you can do it with beadwork as well. I didn't do that. So yes, and I really like this yarn, and it has a edging, a contrast edging, so a light color edging at the end that looks like a ruffle. And I also wanted to use up most of my yarn, so I'm making it quite significantly bigger, so it's going to be quite large. So I'm almost at the end where I want to change the colors. I'll show you the picture now. I stopped in the middle of a row, which is something I shouldn't be doing, but it's very simple. It's not perfect. I didn't concentrate so much with the counting of these, so the spacing of these pattern pieces is not perfect, but I don't think it matters. I think it's still going to be really lovely. And then for the contrasting border, I'm going to use this one, which is also the Rowan Fine Art. I can't remember the names now, but it is all on my project page on Ravelry. So my picture is unfortunately black and white, so sorry about that. But you see, so this is the name, and there you can see, so it is the dark color, and then there's a lighter edging to it. I want to show the pattern. Let me just, there we go. Here you can see. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it turns out. I looked at the project pages on Ravelry, and everybody's is really pretty. I really like it. So yes, so this is flying off the needles, and I don't have to concentrate so much, which I'm really enjoying. So this has been knit up really quickly, and this will probably be done within the next week or so. So that is my one whip. And then my other one, which is still my favorite child, is in this bag. I really like this fabric. It's very, and I added a bobble trim at the bottom. This is my Chances Wrap by Charlotte Bory, I think is her surname, and she's the host of the Charlotte and Gus podcast. I've showed it to you last time as well, but since then I frogged it and started again, just because I think I made some mistakes, and I'm very glad I did, and I wanted to swap out the patterns of the colors. So when I showed you last, let me show this side, this was the light pink, and you can see in between there's a different color. So this is brioche knitting, and it's two color brioche and one color brioche, and it's a very good pattern to learn all the different brioche stitches, because I think it goes through most of it. So I'm halfway. So this is the middle of the shawl, and then that is the end. And I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I love the colors. I love the yarn. Brioche is really not difficult. You have to concentrate, but because look how short the rows are. The rows are really short, so it doesn't take long. It's really going quickly now that I know what I'm doing, and the pattern is very clear. So this is, I'm not sure which is the wrong or right side, but it doesn't really matter. So you can see there, and then this is the other side. So it's so squishy, and it's going to block out quite big, which is really nice. And then it has an edging here, and then you'd hide all these loose ends. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to work on it today, and I'm enjoying it so much that I am definitely going to, I'm saying definitely, things change, but I'm planning on knitting another one. I love those colors in that one, but it doesn't really go with my wardrobe as much as I love it. So I want to knit one that goes with my clothing that I have. And I have a few options. Look at the happiness of this. So this is my yarn basket. It's beautiful. So what I'm thinking of is knitting it with my nurturing fibers. I have this one and this one. No, I don't think I'm going to use that one. Let me just see, where is it now? Oh, here. The green. These are all DK. The pattern has two versions. Sorry. Okay. The pattern has two versions, a fingering weight version, which I'm also going to knit, but I wanted to knit the DK version because it's a little bit quicker and to figure out what I'm doing. So I'm going to knit the next one with these colors. So these are nurturing fibers, the twist, what is it? Super Twist DK, 100% merino, and then I have one silk blend from Stellar Fiberworks, which is Gina from Nurturing Fibers. So this is her yarn that she dyes, and this is 75% merino and 25% silk. So I'm going to do it. I have more of this grey so that it's mostly grey with just a pop of these colors, and I think that's going to be really nice. And I did start the fingering weight version with colors that I have, but then I didn't like the colors together, so I frogged it. I'm definitely going to knit that again, and I have quite a few options of yarn, as you saw in my basket, that I can use for that, so I will show you once I started that. And those are my, oh no, I forgot about one. Okay. This one I haven't shared on the podcast. It is an old whip that was in a bag, but I first wanted to do this sweater, finish the sweater before I continue with that one. And now I think I put the pattern underneath the computer. So I'm sorry, there is going to be a quick earthquake. There we go. Okay, so I wanted to crochet. This is from not the latest, the previous Rowan book. It's from this book. And I really like this boxy shape. And I wanted to crochet that pattern. And I crocheted the entire pattern using these yarns. So I did the whole thing. Okay. But then I didn't like it. I still like the pattern. The shape just doesn't fit me very well, and when I chose the colors, I specifically wanted not to choose navy and pink and grey because those are my favorite colors, and everything I knit is basically in those colors. And I wanted to choose different colors, and I really do still like the colors, but it's just, it didn't feel like me. But I paid a lot for the yarn, and I have all the yarn, so I frogged it. I'm busy frogging it, and while I'm frogging it, I decided to just knit a simple cardigan out of the same book using the same yarn, and it is the Enya cardigan, designed by Maori Wallen. So it's just that simple cardigan, which I think would be a better fit for my wardrobe. So it's very plain knitting and very easy to knit. So I have completed the entire back. Yeah, so I prefer this one. I'm still not convinced about the colors, but I think it would go well with my winter wardrobe. I've a jean in this green size and the purple, and I think it would go well with that. So yes, I am busy with that one. It is really flying off the needles because it's just plain stockinette, and I'm halfway with the left front, and yeah, so that is what I'm doing with that. These are all Rowan tweed yarns. You work using double, holding the yarn double, so you're working with 2 colors everywhere. And yes, I'm excited to finish that. But that is what I like about that project. It is really a TV knit. I can just sit and knit and knit and knit, and it goes by very quickly. I'm knitting it on straight needles. I prefer straight needles. I'm sure you can knit it on circular needles. I just like the straight needles carries the weight of the yarn a lot better for me. So then, especially if it's a heavy or a big garment, it's just easier on my hands to knit that. And yes, so that is my WIPs. And then I went through my cupboard with all my fabric and my yarn, and there is a few unfinished, mostly sewing projects, but there is an unfinished knitting project that I wanted to share with you. I will have to go dive deep to find what yarn this is. But when I was in Canada in 2010 with a trip with my parents, I bought a book there. Sorry about that, I just wanted to find the book. So when I was in Canada, I bought this book, Boutique Knits, and I've knitted, I wanted to knit this hoodie. I have got a few coats that don't have a collar, so they're just sort of round around the neck, and wearing a scarf with that or a hoodie or a cowl really works well. And I have this pink and red coat that some of you that follow me on Instagram would have seen. Yes, so I found this. I completely forgot about it. I knit the whole thing. It has cables and bobbles on there, and then a rib at the bottom. So all I need to do is to line it with fabric in the middle. I've already knit the string that goes through here. So there's a little seam there. It's not going to work over this cardigan, but I just wanted to show you. The yarn is so lovely and soft. I'm sure I have the label somewhere. Okay. So it's a little bit big now because it doesn't have its string in yet. But as you can see, it is really quite pretty. So it's going to have a tassel here, and it's going to be a little bit more in. So I want to finish this. I'm so glad I found it because it's done basically. I just need to line it. And that is what I will be doing today. And then I can show that to you next time. So that is it for all the knitting. So I've been quite busy, but I knit. I used to not knit every day, but now I knit every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. So I can get quite a bit done in 4 weeks. And with that, I'm going to go into the sewing segment. And I'm hoping to insert a video here or pictures of my coat over there. So I've spoke about it in quite a bit of detail before. It was the first pattern I drafted completely from the beginning. I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I found the perfect buttons. I think for some people it would be a little bit over the top, the buttons, but I wanted it to be sort of regal and look as if it could be a vintage coat of some sort. I was inspired by some of the old Dior and Chanel coats, and I love it. I think it's perfect. It's what I wanted it to be, and I will go through some of the details in the video with you and meet you on the other side of that. Okay, so I'm going to show you just my coat up close in a little bit of detail. So here we go. It has a collar here at the top. My coat doesn't fit the mannequin so well, so when I'm wearing it, it's a little bit more up like that. The shape of the coat was inspired by an Alexander McQueen coat. So on the side here, normally you would have a very smooth line there, but I wanted it to be go in and then out, so you can see it there, and that makes quite a difference in the fit. It makes it a little bit more modern. And then we have the jetted pockets over here, so you can see that there's an insert there, and then this is the pocket flap, and if you open it up, it's there, and then it is lined with this chartreuse silk lining. So you can see this piece is not pattern matched, but these are, and you can also see on the seam here that it is pattern matched. So it is double breasted, as you can see. It goes over there, and you can see that this line here is also pattern matched, and then it is lined with the chartreuse lining. So the entire front two panels, the whole panel has interfacing in. It just helps with the fit. It obviously makes it a little bit warmer. And then the button stand goes all the way up to there, so it's double, so it's quite thick here, which is really nice and warm. And then if I turn my mannequin around, the back is just plain. You can barely see the seams because I really tried hard to pattern match it, but there it goes. There's the seam there, and there's the seam there to just give it a little bit of shaping. The sleeves are just set in sleeves, but it has a top sleeve and a bottom sleeve. There you can see the seam there, and you can see that I also try to match it across the back here. That one is not perfect, but in the front it matches quite, it matches quite nicely in the front there. And these are the buttons. Yeah, so I really like it. I think it turned out really well. I'm thinking, what other tips do I have to give you? Oh, what I do is at the bottom of the sleeves and at the bottom of the hem, I put a 6 centimeter band of interfacing, and then you fold over the seam 4 centimeters, and this gives you that seam that really holds up well. So yes, there you can see there's still a loose thread there. Yes, I'm not sure if there's anything else that you guys wanted to know about the coat, but if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. My other sewing that I'm doing in terms of clothing, I started a skirt. So I went through, as I said, I went through my cupboard and I was looking at some of the fabrics, and I want to be a little bit more conscious in terms of what I knit and sew so that I can actually wear it and not be wasteful. And I had just like sort of black fabric in my stash. It is a winter fabric, and I have decided to make a skirt for me. So I'm really enjoying these new skirts that are in fashion at the moment. They are A-line with a button stand in the middle, and I wanted to make a skirt like that for me. So again, I drafted the pattern. So you make a pattern block, so you take your waist measurements and your hip measurements and the length and the distance from your waist to your hip. So it's quite simple for a skirt to draft a pattern. If you're interested in me going into more detail about drafting a skirt pattern, I can definitely do that. So please just leave a comment below and I can make sure to make a video or something, a tutorial maybe of that. So I drafted the pattern, and then from your block, your skirt block, you design your pattern for whatever skirt you want. So I did that in the first lesson, so it was 2.5 hours it took me to do the whole pattern and to cut out the fabric, so that was quite nice. The skirt is really quick. And then the week that's just gone by, I started to sew everything together. So it has a band at the top, And then here is where it's going to attach the button stand. And then I added 2 square pockets in the front. So it's a little bit crinkled. So it has 2 square pockets in the front. So you can't see very well. I'll put in a picture of the one that I based the design on. So all I still have to do is to attach the button stand. So it's cut out and it already has its interfacing ironed on, and then I have to add that and do the buttons, and then I'll be done. So a skirt is really something fun and quick to do if you don't want to tackle such a big project as that coat behind me. So that is what I did in terms of my sewing class, and then I've made a lot of bags. They are not finished yet, but I have made a lot of bags. So in the previous episode I showed you those fabric blocks that I ordered from Keepsake Fabric, and I've sewn them all up into bags. All of them are not finished yet, but I'm going to show you what I've been doing. So these are the ones that are not finished yet. This one is for me. It's Frida Kahlo. Isn't it gorgeous? And then at the back it looks like that. So it would be approximately the same size as this one when it's done. So it will have a boxy bottom. Okay, so that's number one. This one I'm very excited about because this is for a friend. And I'm hoping to finish it today. So it's also Frida, and it has birds all over. So this is birds. It has little owls at the bottom, and at the back it looks like that. So I think it's going to be really pretty when it's done. The other ones are finished. Okay, so this one I made for my mother because she was very jealous of the bags I made for my sister. So this one, can you see, I used that, I didn't sew it into the fabric, I stitched it on top of the fabric. And at the back it is just plain. I don't think there's anything interesting going on with the inside, it's just grey and with a little dot. So it's that one. This one is also beautiful. So it would get a tassel still. And then this one is the last one. This one my mother hasn't seen, but by the time I've recorded this, I would have given it to her because I only finished it last night. So these are the fabric blocks you didn't see because I didn't want to show it on the podcast because she watches it. So it's this one, she loves rabbits. And at the back, there's little kittens that she loves. So I'm not sure about it. Yes, and the inside just has roses in. So with this little heart tag, okay, and then I have these ones. Look how beautiful it is. Little small ones. I'm in a butterfly stage. I'm not sure when it is going to be over because I've been here for quite some time, but I have that one as well. So I have quite a bit more, but I'm not going to go through all of them. But those are the ones with the fabric blocks I showed you. And then I'm making just a few plain ones. This one, this one, this one. We are quite a few ladies working at our practice, and all the new therapists. So we have a junior speech therapist, occupational therapist, and psychologist, and they've all been inspired to start knitting and crocheting. So I'm going to give them these bags as gifts. By the time this goes up, they would have received it already. So I'm not spoiling the surprise. And that is what I have been doing in terms of sewing. So it's been quite a lot, but I really enjoy it, and I'm really enjoying making the bags. I've considered selling them because some people have asked, but for the moment they're not perfect, and I experiment as I go along, so I don't feel comfortable charging money for them. So for the moment, I am making it for gifts and for specific people that I know would appreciate it and love it. So yes. Then after I've finished my skirt, I am planning, these are also stash fabrics. So I have this fabric that is quite old, and I've gone through phases of loving it and not loving it and then wanting to give it away. But I think I finally decided that I'm going to make a simple boat neck, long sleeve or 3/4 shaped bodice with a full skirt dress with this. I think it is going to look lovely, and I think it's going to be very flattering, and the fabric has a really nice drape to it. So that is what I will be doing with this, and that is next up after I finish the skirt. And then I have this spectacular fabric. So it is unicorns. If you look closely. So I have a grey one and a blue one, and I'm not yet sure. They possibly were going to be used together in some sort of way, but that is what is next up for my sewing, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. Okay, so that is everything that I've been busy with, which feels like quite a lot, but I see I haven't been talking for that long. It's only been half an hour, so that's good. I want to try and keep it a little bit shorter, just because of the time it takes to upload the videos. All of my sewing projects, I'm also entering into the Wardrobe Staples Along, hosted by is it Jenny and Devon from Handmade and Woolen podcasts. And at the moment, all the sweaters I'm entering into the Knitting Broomstick Sweater Along and the Knitting Expat Sweater Along, but there's not a specific knit along that I am taking part in at the moment that's very specific, like the previous Void Along and the Jane Austen Along. There is something coming up later in the year that I might be joining, but that is what I am doing for the moment. And then before I leave you, I just wanted to share, I had a bit of mail. The first one was part of the post scrapping swap hosted by the Charlotte and Gus post podcast, hosted by Charlotte. So you had to send a postcard and wrap it with yarn, and mine came all the way from Chicago. And what I was so excited about is that I am in possession of Wool and Wine yarns, which is so great, because I would never, it's just not, I can never make the shop update because of the difference in the time zones, and the dollar to rand exchange rate is quite significant. So I would have to be really very sure of what I'm getting, and then run the risk of it not arriving. Is just not, anyway. So I'm so happy about this. This is on, I think it's Stock Sock in the Phantom colorway. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure, but anyway, so this is Wool and Wine yarns. It's a little bit more green than it is showing up on the screen, but I was so excited to get this, and it took a little bit of time because she sent it on the 6th of June, and I only got it 2 weeks ago. So yes, it does take long. So my parcel, I haven't heard anything from the person I sent it to, so I'm really hoping that it gets to her. Yeah, it's very far, and our postal service in South Africa is not always the best, so I'm hoping it gets to her. If it doesn't, there's not a lot that I can do about that, but I had some extra things in her parcel that I really hope she will enjoy. And then the other thing I can show you is these lovely bags. So I got them from Natural Yarns. This is a Notions pouch. So this is very proudly South African themed, because it is a little Notions pouch and then a matching drawstring bag. That is the perfect size for a small project. So I am considering keeping this for a giveaway. I have another one that's the light color. I like both, but this one has the matching notion spout. So I'm considering keeping this for a giveaway. And this is from alovesupreme.co.za, but I got it from Natural Yarns online store. And then the last thing I want to show you is I am currently reading The Knitting Yarns by Anne Hood. So it is just short stories about people's adventures in knitting, and I'm really enjoying it. So if you're looking for a light reading and you love yarn and knitting, I can definitely recommend this book. So yes, and with that, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you want to. And you can find all the show notes on Ravelry, on the group. The link is below this video. And if you have any questions for me, there's a thread in there that you can ask me anything you want. And I will either answer you directly or on the podcast if you want me to. Or you can also contact me on Instagram. And all my details will be below the video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.